Coming to you live from Studio 6 in Seattle, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side. With leading edge topics, along with special co-hosts to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that's going to make you go, Now sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to TechTime Radio with your host, Nathan Mumm. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. I'm Nathan Mumm, and on today's show, we're excited to have Mike back.
How's it going?
Good to see you. How are you feeling?
I was exposed, but I was negative.
You were negative?
I just spent a 2-week staycation at home.
At home. Well, we're glad you're back. Welcome back to the show. Some things have changed. You got a whole new setup that we have here.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
Well, you're either going to enjoy it or I got two other co-hosts that we're very excited to be here. We have a new segment that we will be airing every week now called Protect Yourself Today. So that we're going to air that this episode 9, and then it'll be on here for the episodes continuing on. This talks about ransomware, cyber attacks, and other areas focusing on cybercrime.
Okay.
So we'll go through that. We have our top stories in 5 minutes. And on today's episode, in our main segment, we are going to be covering hybrid teaching from home. And there's a big debate about it on should you come to school, should you not come to school. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I have some opinions on that.
You got some opinions on it? I have some opinions too. So I think it'll be great to be talking about how technology can help, because everybody can do Zoom and a bunch of other video conferencing options. So that we can talk about that. We also have a cool item in our gadgets and gear. So we have an AI pet robot with emotional capabilities. So we got that we'll be covering. And of course, we have our TechTime whiskey rating system. So make sure you listen all the way through to the program so you can see if our selected whiskey gets a thumbs up, gets a thumbs down, or if we get a split between each of us. So on
Siskel and Ebert style.
That's right, a little Siskel and Ebert style. So today our whiskey choice that we have the Ballantines Finest. This is a Scottish whiskey developed in Scotland, and it was established in 1827. It is known as the oldest blended whiskey in the market today. It was a gold medal winner at the International Wines and Spirit Competition in 2014. In 2015 and 17, it was a silver winner, so runner-up. It is 40 ABV, so alcohol by volume. In Europe, that is their rating scale, but really in America, we have to double that to come up with our proof system. So it's 80 proof, and the bottle is $17.99. So
all right,
we're going to be going through that.
Did you get it at Costco?
I did not get it at Costco. No, I haven't got it at Costco. So we're going to start with our first sip. You ready to start your first sip? We have all of our descriptions and colors and our contrasts. And so if you want to play at home, you can also print out your sheet from techtimeradio.com, and you can go through and get your bottle of finest whiskey that you have to compete. So what's your first thought about that?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah. It has a bit of an afterburn, but the taste is really good.
It tastes pretty good, doesn't it? So we're going to have to go through all the descriptions as we continue on our show. So we'll make sure we can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. But Mike, right now, we are going to get right into it, and we are going to get into our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, here we go. What's happening in technology? Nathan's top stories in the first 5 minutes. Story number 1. Bill Gates on COVID. Most U.S. tests are completely garbage. Bill Gates came on out and said that they're garbage.
Yep.
For 20 years, Bill Gates has been easing out of the role that made him rich and famous, the CEO and software architect behind Microsoft, and devoting his brain power passion to the Bill and Gates Melinda Foundation. This year, after he left the Microsoft board, one would have thought that he'd be relaxing, but instead he has become a major target and influence of the plague of misinformation regarding COVID-19.
Yes.
as critics accuse him of planning to inject microchips, vaccinations,
and killing off the population.
Killing out the population. Again, checked our TechTime Radio facts section, so you can actually go through there and make sure that you read through the facts of what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
Bill was quoted that he's very surprised at the U.S. situation because the smartest people on the world, by a lot, he said, are at the CDC. And he says, I would have expected them to be doing better. You would expect the CDC to be the most visible area out there, not the White House. But they haven't been the face of the epidemic, and he's upset. They are trained to communicate and not try to panic people, but get people to think of things more seriously. When Bill was asked about people getting their tests back quickly enough, he said, well, it's just stupidity. The majority of U.S. tests are completely garbage and wasted because they're making ridiculous money, and the most rich people are getting access to the tests first. And he says none of this has to be done, and this could be fixed overnight.
A lot of things could be.
When we tell them to change it, as far as we can tell, they say that we are just doing a great job. It's amazing. And we are now in, it sounds like a quote from somebody.
That's a direct quote, I think.
I think from a Donald Trump. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Here we are in August. We're the only country in the world where we waste the most money on tests. Fix the reimbursement system, set up the CDC website to be done correctly so he can make sure he has the tests available. Now, Alyssa Milano, I don't know if you know who she was.
Yep.
Who's the boss, girl?
Who's the boss?
So she was tested positive for COVID-19 antibodies after receiving 3 negative results. She got deadly sick. She was thinking that she was dying. She had to deal with it. So she went on in and did the tests, and 3 of those tests came back negative.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems with tests.
The tests. And so essentially Bill says that we have the ability right now, if the CDC would take the front lines, of having a faster testing system. What do you think about that, Mike?
I think if powers that be will let them, that maybe they will be able to handle some of this stuff, but seem to be the case.
It doesn't seem to be the case. I think it has a really valid point, and I appreciated him.
Or we could just continue being amazing. I like that idea too.
Just being the best nation ever.
Yeah, let's be amazing.
We're the best. All right, story 2. Facebook to have those employees work from home until July 2021. Facebook has joined Google and said it will allow employees to work from home into the middle of next year as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. So that's story number 2. Story 3, Google discontinues the Pixel 4 9 months after release. So Google comes on out with the Pixel 4. 9 months later, they announced that they are no longer building the Pixel 4, but they have now moved on to the Pixel 4a.
Yeah.
Again, here they have a product out there, and now we're going to cancel it. And go
that's because they went to the 4A because of the battery problems, right? For the 4.
Yes.
And then they're talking about already the Pixel 5.
So they're killing all of the 4XL and 4 for the 4A and the 5. Story number 4. I think we're going to get through this. Hulu's annual ad support plan can save you $12 a year.
Woohoo!
It's only open to current subscribers, though. But if you're willing to sign up for Hulu for an entire year and don't mind seeing some ads, you can save some cash on the annual service plan. So if you have that service right now and you want to save, you can click on the TechTime Radio links and you can get Hulu saved for 12 months. Okay, our bell has rung. We are over, and that gets us through 4 stories in our first 5 minutes. If you want to learn more about these stories, please visit us online at www.techtimeradio.com and click on the links. When we come on back, we'll have our new weekly segment called Protect Yourself Today. This is Nathan Mumm. Welcome to TechTime Radio.
Right now, kids are learning in their kitchens
and dining rooms
and bedrooms.
Families are redefining the word school.
It's pretty inspiring.
It's why at Xfinity, we're committed to helping kids keep learning.
It's why we're working 24/7 to keep our network fast, reliable, and secure.
We're providing affordable internet access to low-income families
through our Internet Essentials program.
And this is pretty cool.
Just say education until your X1 voice remote.
To get free K-12 educational content.
It's that easy.
And you can learn more at xfinity.com/prepare.
Welcome back to TechTime Radio. As we start the segment with a sip of our whiskey, we are tasting, again, the Ballantines Finest. Still has a little bit of a bite, but it's got a real smooth taste once that bite hits and it kind of comes down.
Yeah, I really like the the initial taste.
The initial taste is pretty good. Again, they've been around for, going on 3 centuries now, making this. So they have a true and proven process. All right. We're starting our new segment. This is a new weekly segment called Protect Yourself Today. It's a 5-minute rundown, kind of like our top stories in 5 minutes. We're going to go and start with 5 minutes, and we're going to talk about all the security breaches, business compromised across the globe, and other areas of cyber attacks that are happening. So we will start our segment now.
Protect yourself today.
Okay, Intel. Good old Intel processing today became the apparent victim of a massive internal data breach. As roughly 20 gigs of various Intel documents and tools have begun showing up on a data cache uploaded to the wider internet. With materials seemingly spanning over the decades, the breach reportedly includes everything from Intel's presentations, templates, to BIOS code and debugging tools, and would represent one of the biggest intellectual property leaks from the chip maker in years. Intel has been compromised with a lot of huge items. Next thing that we have here is China hackers have pillaged Taiwan's semiconductor industry. So, a campaign called Operation Skeleton Key has stolen source code, software development kits, chips designs, and more. Taiwan has faced a huge conflict with China for its entire existence and has been targeted by China's state-sponsored hacking systems for years. But an investigation by one of Taiwanese security firms has revealed just how deeply a single group of Chinese hackers were able to penetrate an industry at the core of the Taiwanese economy, including practices for the whole entire semiconductor industry. So, excuse me. It's the whiskey getting to me. So China has hacked Taiwan's semiconductor industry.
Yeah.
So China is aggressively out there.
China's everywhere.
They are everywhere, aren't they?
They'll hack into your favorite video game
if they have a chance to, right?
They have a chance.
If they have a chance to. All right, here's the next great thing. Trump signs executive orders banning TikTok and WeChat. And we talked about TikTok security on a previous episode, and so TikTok is the same as Facebook, the same as Twitter, the same as any other social media account, except for they're storing their information in China. So Trump does not like that. He cited national security concerns. He has signed 2 executive orders that will ban the Chinese-owned social media platforms TikTok and WeChat from the U.S. within the next 40 days. The order appears designed to accelerate the sale of the 2 platforms to American firms. So Microsoft is looking at possibly buying TikTok, and I've seen some internal Microsoft news as a alumni in our alumni association area, and there is a real split within Microsoft on if they even want to get in the social media platform. That's something that Bill talked about a little bit in his interview, where he said, hey, you know what, he doesn't think that's a good idea. So I don't think Microsoft understands the whole social
I don't know if anybody does.
Social areas of all the legalities of what happens, so it'll be very interesting.
So, yeah.
All right, our next story, Canon USA. You familiar with Canon printers, Canon imaging?
Oh, yeah.
So website was offline following a cyber incident. So several Canon US corporate websites remained offline last Friday after the company reportedly sustained a ransomware attack. Earlier, the imaging company reported user data was missing from a cloud database. Now, I actually know 2 individuals that work with Canon very closely, and one of them was told that they were having an electrical storm and were unable to jump onto a video conference during last week. And another person said, their sites have been down and a lot of their drivers and stuff were no longer there. So Canon was confirmed that a group called Maze was responsible for the attack. Pretty large cyber criminal organization out there. The ransom note was not specific about the amount demanded of what they were able to see. Canon tells ISMG that the company is investigating its latest website issue, but declined to have further comments. So they're declining to announce that this is out there. There has been confirmed missing Canon images. The company does announce that they are still working on image and video data stored in its cloud platform to restore it. It seems to be missing. And there's no evidence connecting the website outages or missing data with anything that has been targeted as the Maze's tactical note. But we will wait and see what happens. I'm pretty sure Canon got compromised, and I'm willing to go on the record that they got compromised with this article.
Probably.
Okay, that is the sound of the bell. So that is our 5 minutes. And this is our new segment. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And when we come on back again, we're talking about hybrid schooling and what are we doing with technology in our schools, and should we be sending kids back to class? And we got a couple case studies and some stories coming on up. So everybody take a sip of your whiskey, and we'll see you after this break.
Your business deserves the same expertise as that of a Fortune 500 company. If you need a CIO-level service, why hire a full-time staff member at $250,000 a year when you can get this on-demand service for fractions of the cost? As your CIO on demand, we'll give you the steps you need to take so as to minimize interruption to your business and profitability, and provide you and your business with training and education to prevent future attacks. To get an efficiency review for your business today, contact us at www.ee-services.com.
Welcome back to the show. Mike and I have been enjoying the whiskey while you were listening to these commercial breaks. And Mike, what do you think about this whiskey right now that you're enjoying?
Well, like I said, the taste, the initial taste is really good. It's a spicy.
It's got a spicy type taste?
Rye. It has a rye spice.
It's got a rye spice taste. Okay.
Yeah. It quickly overcomes my nose.
Okay. It does have
with that bite. It bites fast, but it's not a horrible bite. I sort of enjoy it.
You kind of enjoy it?
Yeah.
See, it's going to be interesting because I have a big thing on cork tops.
I know. I've been looking at that screw top and wondering what you think about that, because I know your theory on cork tops.
I big. If it's a cork top, it's normally good, and if it's not, then it's normally to be thrown across the side. But you know what? Changing my mind on cork tops, I'm starting to realize doing the show here. So I don't know if that always makes a difference. All right, well, we're going to see again at the end of our show, the pick of the day. We'll see if this actually is a thumbs up, thumbs down, or if we get a split between the whiskey. All right, here we go. Our next segment is our featured story in today's broadcast in our Technology Insider. Welcome to Technology Insider. Get the inside information directly from the source. Welcome to our Technology Insider. Hybrid schooling may be the most dangerous option of all. It's supposed to be the perfect compromise between in-person and online education.
So they say.
It could end up as a public health nightmare. As we head to the start of the academic year, schools just around the country are grasping at how to educate their students while keeping everybody safe. Some districts will have kids back in class full-time. 20 to 30% of the nation's school districts, including New York City, which alone serves more than 1 million students, are planning on implementing a hybrid model. Where groups of kids attend in person on alternating part-time schedules. U.S. governors, school chancellors, and state officials have touted this approach as the Goldilocks solution. A number of kids will also be kept at home completely remote, offerings being taken care of an option for schooling that they figure to be another 20 to 30%. So that leaves us with 40% of the kids that are either back full-time or have other alternative plans for schooling. So it's pretty much down the middle split here. So let's talk about this a little bit. I know around our area, we actually have a hybrid approach happening. We have some districts that are completely remote that are going to be happening. And then I do know we have a lot of private schools, Catholic high-end schools, that are actually going back and they are just doing full-time school. So we have the difference. Now the hybrid approach that a lot of people are taking is they're going to normally have a group of students come in Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah, it's like a cohort thing.
It's like Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday will be an all-day online event. And then that group that was there Monday and Tuesday in school will then also have offline or online schooling that will be for Thursday and Friday. And the students that didn't show up on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday are then going to come on in and do school Thursday and Friday and use the other Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday times as their online classes. So the idea is that they come on in. Then on that Wednesday, I guess they're going to hire 1,000 of staff, and they're all going to go through, and they're going to sanitize everything and get everything clean. And then you're going to come on back, and it's going to be sterile, and it's going to be ready to go, and everything's going to be in place. So let's take a look and see if this actually works. Yeah. All right?
Okay. Let's do that.
So let's take a look at some research that we have here. So the Goldilocks solution, because none of the school classrooms are large enough to handle 6 feet of separation with the full-time students that they have there. That's kind of another problem that we have just in our schooling system in general, that you have teachers with 30 kids in a classroom to 25 to 30 as a norm instead of having smaller class sizes.
Yeah, the pandemic has shown a very bright light on all the ways we don't want to change.
The ways we don't, yeah. And one of them is schooling, right? And parents want to get their kids back in school, especially if they both have jobs, because they don't want to have to deal with them at home. And we're going to talk about this hybrid model according to William Hanage, okay? The hybrid model is probably among the worst that we could be putting forward, in his opinion. If your goal is to stop the virus getting into schools, this is not the answer.
Yeah, I lean towards that. I lean towards that guy's opinion.
Okay, so I don't see how in the end this helps teachers. His argument is very simple. If you want to limit children and teachers' exposures to infections, it's better to have students spend their time within a constant group of peers. In a hybrid model, when the students are kept out of school for multiple days each week or every other week, a sizable percentage of them are likely to intermingle with other children and adults. So if you're going to go home, that probably makes sense. You're probably going to play with the neighborhood kids. If you're a school-age kid, you're going to want to go on out and do something. In this model, there's a sizable percentage of them that as they intermingle, especially for younger children with working parents, that the kids may be in daycare, they may be exposed to a different set of social contacts, and the possible of infections increase.
Yep. This is no doubt a very complicated issue. I think they're on the wrong course here.
You think they're on the wrong course? Yeah. So he continues to go on saying that older kids and adolescents will be inclined to hang out with their peers on off days. So let's take an instance here. 2 sports analogies. I love it. We're going to take Major League Baseball. Because this is what I understand, and NBA basketball.
Okay.
So the NBA basketball, they are playing games right now. Do you know how many players have tested positive for COVID-19?
No, how many?
0.
Okay.
So they went to Disney World in the sports bubble, and they're in a bubble. So their food is sanitized and sent to them. They have 2 teams staying in a hotel. So you got Hotel A. You'll have one team here and one team there, which will make it very interesting if they get into the playoffs and both teams are in the same hotel. So you'll be fighting literally down the halls. And they have been completely secluded. They did this 2 weeks before the league. They test each person each and every day, and they're playing
with the horrible garbage test.
I don't think they're doing the garbage test. I think, as Bill said, that they're probably paying for the higher end testing that comes back within a couple hours instead of the 3 days. So they're getting instant results,
right?
They have 0 cases. 0 cases that have been outbreaking, and they're hitting each other's bodies. Their spit's coming, sweat's coming. They're playing a very physical game.
Right.
Major League Baseball has no bubble, and they have teams that can't even participate in games because their whole team is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
They go home, they come in, they play their games, they go home, sleep in their houses, hang out with their friends, come on back, and essentially they've had Miami team in Florida was completely hit by COVID-19. They had to forfeit, I think it was like 7 games in the Major League Baseball season so far that they're going to try to make up. So there's the difference of complete bubble, staying remote, and then this hybrid mode. And in Major League Baseball is struggling because they did the hybrid mode and it's not working.
Yeah, and I think that's the same thing I'm a proponent for everybody staying home and using the technology to create classrooms virtually. And I say that because as somebody who's had 4 kids, we always called it school flu.
Okay.
As soon as they start school, the first few weeks of school, the kids are petri dishes.
Yep.
They get sick. They bring it home. Everybody in the household gets sick. And
no, but if they wear masks, everybody's going to wear them, right?
No, they're kids.
Yeah, they're kids.
And whoever wrote this idea,
the hybrid idea.
Yeah, I don't think they actually understand kids. I don't think they actually understand human. I think they looked at a lot of statistics and maybe came up with a statistical way of looking at this instead of a real world
scenario.
And
so let's talk about this camp in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have a camp in Georgia. This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Okay. Camp in Georgia, more than 250 children and young adults tested positive for the novel coronavirus, according to a recent report by the U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention. So let's talk about this. So we have our YMCA camp in Georgia. In mid-June, about 250 counselors, staff, and trainees arrived at YMCA Camp High Harbor on the shores of Lake Burton, a 2-hour drive from Atlanta. The camp typically hosts about 4,000 school-age kids every summer, offering both day-long and overnight programs. But this year was a little bit different, right? Anything but typical, as they had all of their officials and everybody in charge of the YMCA of the metropolitan Atlanta area wrote that they, after spending heavy time in discussions, a lot of parents saying that they wanted to have this camp open, they decided to open the camp.
Yep, here
and
again.
If they would be able to do it now, in retrospect, they absolutely regret doing it.
Duh.
On the evening of June 22nd, the day after campers arrived. So they had all their teenage staff and everybody came in there a couple weeks early, went through training. They had some testing, probably not as good as the NBA testing, but probably still some proficient testing.
Yeah, they took a lot of precautions, but one guy. One person.
So if one person. So here's what we have. So on the opening day, June 22nd, all the campers arrive. A teenage staff member came down with the chills. So whether he had it before, whether the kids are arriving, whatever happened, he all of a sudden on the day of, and he didn't have any signs before, but the day of, he comes down with chills. The next day they were tested. On Wednesday, the test results came back positive for SARS-CoV-2. Parents were notified and the campers were sent home.
Right.
The public health department was called in days later. The camp was closed. By mid-July, an investigation by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution found that the virus had spread to dozens of campers and counselors. According to the CDC's investigation, which identifies High Harbor as Camp A, they were actually hundreds of infections among the campers and staff rather than the dozens.
This is the primary example of what can go wrong. You know, we again, this is a complex issue, right? Yep. This is a super complex issue because we're human beings. We're social by nature. We need to be around other people in the first place. But we also have a social system that's set up that, you know, we're going to work, our kids are going to school, our schools are substitute childcare. You know, there's all these different moving pieces here. And I get that these parents, I'm sure
they wanted their kids out of the house.
They want their kids out of the house.
They're like, dude, I need to get my kids out of here.
Yeah,
so they put all the pressure on that YMCA group.
Yeah, and part of it, I'm sure, is that they want the kids to have their experiences and things like that. But there's also the other part, whereas I get to have some peace and quiet at home.
That's right. So I was really on the fence until I read about this hybrid model because my wife has a preschool, and so they're just going to go open. So they're just saying the same group of kids. We're not going to intermix it. We're not going to shut it down. We're not going to do shifts. They're going to have a lot smaller class sizes, and then they can control that. What kills me is that our divide in technology between certain areas that people live in. So if we're going to do the home stuff, we need to make sure that everybody has access to the devices and to the same learning abilities, so we don't have this gap between
the
privileged kids and those that are struggling to make ends meet, that still want the same education level.
Right. You know, there's so many arguments for and against it. It's literally mind-boggling. It's just crazy.
I don't think the hybrid approach works, though. I will say that. After reading all these articles and talking to a bunch of experts about this, I would absolutely say either open or stay closed. Please, the hybrid thing is just going to help us spread the virus around quicker than we need it to.
Yeah, we've already shown the world that we're not capable of containing this thing. So, because we're all very
self-centered, we're self-centered, and we all want to go out and do what we want to do.
Yeah,
you wear a mask, but I don't want to have to wear a mask, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, who knew that remote learning and hybrid would be such a topic that we would be talking about on a technology show? But in today's realm, we are talking about it because you have Microsoft Teams coming on out and Zoom with a whole bunch of additional features for the educational side of things. So if you are a teacher, if you want to learn more about the educational side of technology, I'd strongly encourage you to do a Microsoft search for education or a Zoom search for education on Google and find out what's going on. And there's plenty of resources to come there. I am your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday in the studio again. Glad to have him back. We are going to take a commercial break, and this is TechTime Radio.
We are running our COVID-19 technology response on Teams.
Teams has given us the possibility to continue to innovate.
I can bring them in. I can actually share my screen and show the x-rays.
We're living on Teams. It's as simple as that.
Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm and co-host Mike Roday. We now have our third and final whiskey tasting. I finished up my bottle.
I did too.
And I am okay with that. Let me just tell you, last week I had this stuff. It was nasty. Yeah. I don't want to say what it was, but please go back to episode 8 and you can watch it. And it was, it was not good.
Yeah.
Trader Joe's is not the best provider of whiskey. All right. So welcome everybody back. Again, make sure you stay to the end of the show because we will have our thumbs up or thumbs down whiskey review. But right now, we're going to go into our third segment, which we call Gadgets and Gear. What's new in Gadgets and Gear? Okay, Mike, Gadgets and Gear. Here you go.
Yeah.
This is, and we're going to be talking about this. This goes all the way back to pet rocks. You know, did you ever have a pet rock?
No, but I wish I thought of it.
You wish you thought of it? That was in the 70s and early 80s. What a great idea, huh?
Yeah.
So did you ever have a Tamagotchi unit?
Yeah.
Okay, I had one of those. Did you ever have a Teddy Ruxpin?
My children did.
Your children did? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, we did also. And then did you ever have one of the Barney Interactive? Did you have the Barney thing from Microsoft?
No, I hate Barney.
Oh, dude, we had that. Oh my gosh. It was because I was working at Microsoft at the time and they came out with Barney and Arthur, little dolls, and they had this VCR in these video games that you would play.
Nope.
And
Barney was a no-no.
Barney was a no-no. Oh, my kids loved Barney. I hated Barney too, but look, I had him on this little purple thing moving around.
Yeah,
and then I just punched him in the face.
Punch you in the face.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so we got gadgets and gears. So as we segment into this, today we are talking about a item that's on Kickstarter. Again, our gadgets and gear, most of the time we go to Kickstarter. I love Kickstarter. I just bought a bunch of stuff on Kickstarter for Christmas, hopefully this year. Maybe it'll be next year or the year after, depending on when it gets fully funded. But it's called a Moflin.
Yeah, is that another word for treble?
A treble, another word for treble. It looks just like a treble from Star Trek. Have you ever seen the Star Trek tribbles?
Yeah.
It looks just like that. So it's an AI pet created for a totally new concept. It possesses emotional capabilities to evolve like living animals. Mm-hmm. With this warm, soft fur, cute sounds, and adorable movements, you'd want to love it forever. We took a nature-inspired approach and developed a unique algorithm that allows Molphin to learn and grow by constantly using its interactions to determine patterns and evaluates its surrounding from its sensors. Molphin will choose from an infinite number of mobile and sound pattern combinations to respond and express its feelings. To put it in simple terms, it's like you're interacting with a living pet.
Yeah.
So instead of having, I've been a sucker for these type of things. I always want to have, because we have our own pets. We have a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, cats are great when they're killing mice outside, and we live on a little bit of some acreage. So when they bring me a little mouse, a field mouse, fantastic, and they're taking care of things. But when I see them sitting in my living room on the floor from 10 o'clock until 7, and then they get up to go outside into their well house and have a nice dinner, I'm like, these pets. So I'd love to have an artificial pet that I don't have to worry about throwing up. I don't have to worry about cleaning. I don't have to worry about any of those things. And this pet is promising to provide me with an AI that will actually have a bonding experience with it.
Sure. Yeah, we'll anthropomorphize anything.
So the price of this is not cheap, though. Of course, it's about $400. And you can have your own, I guess, you call it a tribble? Are you calling it your Star Trek tribble?
It looks like a tribble it looks like somebody took a tribble and stretched it a little bit.
Okay, but
made a little worm out of it.
But this has, as we continue to learn a little bit more about it, it is available to live and develop its own expressions through its AI. Their personalities will depend on the environment.
Yeah.
And how the owners treat them.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Is that exciting? Why is that?
Because there's a dark side of me that wants to get one and see if I can make it so depressed it doesn't go to its charger.
It doesn't go because it will go back to its charger at night to get charged. So great. So you're gonna be the person that wants to have this. So you're gonna throw your animal across the room and yell at it all the time.
No.
So it's depressed, and then all of a sudden it'll be in the corner and it won't go back to charge.
Talk bad to it or something.
So it has, according to this, it has the ability in concept to improve everyday life by understanding what you want it to do. So supposedly, I guess if you keep on saying the name over and over and over again, it's probably got an AI pattern that's the name of it. So maybe it'll chirp at you or do different items.
Yeah, it's almost a very simple behavioral conditioning system. If it makes a noise and I give it a pet or whatever it needs to feel a reward, if you can say that.
So Vanguard's Industry is a whole company that it has this out. It's available on Kickstarter. Again, you can visit TechTimeRadio.com and you can click on the link in our facts section and you can actually bid on this Kickstarter. It was about 50%, I think, funded that was available there. Do you have some more schematics that you printed out there, Mike? Is that what you have?
Yeah, I have all the little specs and ideas and the emotional. It's got the emotions it's supposed to be.
So how many emotions does it say does it have in there?
9 emotions. 9 emotional responses, from stressed, excited, happy, secure, normal, anxious, sad, lethargic, and calm.
So you want lethargic, calm, and sad? Is that you're going to try to get all of those realms?
I just want to see if that dark side wants to see if I can just make it so sad it won't charge.
All right. So you know what?
That's bad
for Christmas. For Christmas,
that's horrible.
You may see a Moflin, maybe not this year, but the next year. But make sure you get in if you're interested in getting one of these. They just announced it was considered the staff pick of the week for their newest items on Kickstarter. And again, you can visit our website and have a chance to take a look at that.
Yeah, I want to also know if I have to do stuff like, you remember like the Tamagotchis, you had to make sure you had to feed it.
You had to feed it, and you had to fight too, right? Didn't you have to fight?
I don't remember,
because I had this Tamagotchi one where I could link two Tamagotchis, and then I think they would fight each other.
Oh, okay.
So that they would do that, but you'd have to feed it, and then you'd have to pet it, and you'd have to do certain things. I know Tamagotchi just came back out with a re-release of some of their old devices that were available. They were a pretty hot item this last Christmas.
Yeah. This is a great idea. Actually, it's just I always find it interesting when we're, as human beings, we're trying to make machines act more like us.
That's a pretty sad thing. We already have enough problems with ourselves already.
Yeah, we can't even figure ourselves out, and we want to make machines that act like that. That's the basis of all Terminator movies.
It is, isn't it? You create a machine that then kills you because you don't understand how to take care of it, and it just wants to be you, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, that is our segment there that ends, and now we have our whiskey reveal. This is the time here for the whiskey reveal. This is what people watch our show for, about our expertise in whiskey.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've had people, lots of comments about how to do shows, and all of them are like, oh, you should learn more about whiskey. And I'm like, I don't really know. I love whiskey, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm learning more about doing the show with the whiskey than I ever did before.
I'm more interested in how it tastes.
Okay.
That's why I like whiskey.
That's the same here. I just like, and if I like the taste, I like it, and
if I don't,
the bottle will disappear, and if I don't, then it'll be around forever. So, because I don't throw away bad alcohol, I still keep it.
Well, yeah, somebody will drink it, right?
That's right.
Or it can stay on your shelf forever.
We have your in-laws on over. You decide to open up the nasty whiskey. And say, here you go, just for you guys. Let's have some.
It just looks good hanging around on a shelf forever.
In the back.
You just
take them and you just go put a little food coloring in with water, and then you have them always full, right?
Yeah, that's what my son did once.
Did he do that once? He drank your whiskey and then decide to put food coloring and water back in it?
No. He bought himself a lot of whiskeys.
Okay.
And we found it.
Okay.
And we took it from him.
Okay.
Because he was underage.
Well, that's probably not a good thing to have whiskey then.
Right. Yeah. So I told him I was either going to pour it out in the sink or I was going to hide it from him, and because I'm not a huge butthead, I hid it. But he found it.
He found it,
and
then he started drinking it out of it a little bit here and there.
He would replace the whiskey with colored water.
Smart kid. He looked at YouTube and somebody told him how to do something, so he could do it.
I think this was in the days before YouTube.
Oh, it was before the YouTube days.
Yeah,
okay.
this is the old carrier pigeon.
Okay, where somebody told you somebody in school and somebody okay, I got you. Yeah. All right. So let's do we got our brand here. So it's a bottled Scotland. Mm-hmm. It's Ballantines Finest. Again, it was a gold winner medal for the International Wine and Spirit Competition in 2014. Silver 2015 and 17. So it's like the bridesmaid, right? You're the runner-up. You don't quite win, but you still want to put it out there that you did something. And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbled to the top. Mike, we're going to go to you. What's your overall rating?
I give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up from Mike Gourdet. He says
I like it.
Okay, you like it.
Even the bite is.
It's a pretty good bite, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a nibble.
It's like a little bit of a nibble. So I am going to give it again a thumbs up. So it's going to be an award winner. Our 2 thumbs up. Ballantines is I think again it's $17.99. I think it's got a unique taste. It has been around since 1827, and there's a reason.
Cap.
Was that?
And a screw cap.
I don't like the screw cap, so I would just pour it into a different bottle with no label, and I can put a cork cap on it. But yeah, no, it tastes very good. Mm-hmm. So that is a winner then in our show today for our pick of the day. Mike, it was great to have you on the show. A little bit's changed. I still hit my mics when I move my papers around, though, so that hasn't changed.
That hasn't changed.
Our big episode 10 is coming up next week. Are you ready for that?
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
You're ready for that? So we are going to be, we did kind of the trial run on some of our segments here. We have a huge announcement of something that we will be doing there, which is called the Lace Awards. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Lace Awards. Probably not, because they are just made up for TechTime Radio. So if you haven't heard of the Lace Awards will be on next episode, our special 10 episode, which will go through and rate our streaming services on original content and kind of be like an Oscar and Emmy show where we're going to have, I think it's like 6 or 8 different categories that these services fall into, and we'll see which one of them win from our great listeners that participated in this survey. That we appreciated them doing that, and so we have all the tallied information. So
All right.
I'm excited to see you next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. Talk to you later. And again, everybody at home, thank you very much for joining episode 9 here of TechTime Radio. If you want to find out any of the information that we talked about at the show, we have a facts section, which means you can click on the link yourself. So you just don't have to believe Mike and Nathan on what the stories are about, but you can read about it. And again, if you want to bring your own whiskey to show 10, you can print out the list there, and you can be drinking your whiskey as we go through our whiskey taste. And I can't wait to see what we're going to have for our special episode, 10 whiskey. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week on TechTime Radio. Thank you for joining us for TechTime Radio today. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. Hopefully you enjoyed talking technology, and of course, having a little whiskey on the side. Remember, as we leave, Mumm's the word. Thank you for listening. If you like the show and want to learn more, please check us out at techtimeradio.com or on YouTube or your favorite podcast service. Just look for TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.